So nice to meet everybody. Thank you, Atlanta Ventures, for hosting this every quarter and for bringing me into the fold. My name is Shelly Scott. I am originally from a really small town in Georgia called Warner Robins. If you've heard of it, you probably heard of it in context of Robins Air Force Base, which is one of the largest Air Force bases on the planet. And so I grew up in that community. I packed my car with everything I owned, and I had a total of like $300 cash, and I drove out to the Golden State of California, ended up going to UC Berkeley for undergrad, and then working for Intuit for 10 years, makers of QuickBooks and TurboTax, and then starting my company. And obviously that's what I'm here to talk about. And so let me get the present going. And I'd love to share. So we'll walk you through a couple slides. I'm not a big slide person. I think it's just like corporate trauma. I just like don't like slides. But I do have a product demo to show you that I'm really excited about. So we'll spend most of the time there. So as I said, I'm building a company called GetSideKicks, and with the effort to make military life easier. We know military life is never going to be easy, but there are definitely some things that we feel like we can do to change the game for the 40 million individuals that are connected to the military community. Today, GetSideKicks connects military parents looking for childcare with vetted and verified military moms that can care for their kids. So let's dive in a little bit to the problem space. Again, not looking to spend a ton of time here on slides. So I'm going to gloss over some of the more. So there's a lot of, I get very passionate about this topic, and so I had to like really pull back so I wouldn't talk too much. So if you're an active duty military family, on average, you're moving about every 18 months. And so the implication here is as you're moving, you're having to reset your support services every time. Where you live, where your kids are going to go to school, where are you going to work potentially, who's going to babysit your kids, who's going to mow your lawn. There's just all the things that you have to, totally reset every time you uproot and move to another location. Now, 18 months is just the average. We have users today because we're a real company. We operate across the state of Georgia. We've got customers in Alabama, Florida, Virginia, and in other states. And we have users that have moved every 6 months for the last 4 years, which is crazy with kids, right? Like it's a lot. The average deployment cycle for an active duty military service member is 6 months. Sometimes that's as little as 3, sometimes it can go up to 18. And so when you think about, what's the implications of assuming you have a 2-parent household and one parent is just gone, right? Like they push the eject button temporarily. The impact to that individual that's left behind is really great in terms of the operational burdens that they have to carry. And then all this sort of accumulates into a major mental health risk for active duty military spouses, where they are 2 times more likely to have a major depressive episode than their civilian counterparts. The Department of Defense has declared that family readiness is a national security issue. They spend $9.2 billion a year on soldier and family readiness programs. So this is not like a secret that, our families are having troubles. There's a ton of data out there. It's like an entrepreneur's dream. There's so much real data, like from institutions that have invested millions and millions of dollars into research on where the key problems are. So getting into the solution, we have built an application that enables military families to quickly set up a support network in their new location. We're moving away from one-to-one matching. So like, I need a babysitter, here's Jessica, to really thinking about what are the layers of care a family needs, whether that's a mother's helper at night because her service member is deployed and she just needs someone to come in and help her around the house while she puts the kids to bed, all the way to I need somebody full-time because I'm going to lose my job if I don't show up. So massive, massive need here. The gist of the way that it works is, and I'll show you this in just a minute, the family tells us their location and care preferences. We recommend a squad of sidekicks to them of around 3 to 5 individuals that they can call on when they need them. And then we enable that family to manage their squad all in one place. So let's check this out. Let's hope I can smoothly get through these prototypes. Okay, so when you come to the website, and by the way, this is like an unveiling because these designs are not available to the public yet until right now, or until this YouTube video gets published. So congratulations to everyone listening. So when you land on the website, you can quickly understand sort of what we're doing, how we're different from the other options out there, and then proceed to find the care that you need for your family. So in this case, I'm going to walk you through a user that is an existing customer that's already booked some of individuals from her squad and is coming back to the app because she needs to rebook someone. So I'm going to log in. Because we're military only, we verify everyone through a third-party identity service provider called ID.me. And so you have to be verified through ID.me to get into the system. This was something that was super important to our user base because they do want to hire each other. And there's not a ton of solutions out there that verify that the person on the other end of that conversation is truly a military affiliated individual. So here I've logged in. I come to my home screen and I can see my favorites. So this is my squad. I see Tessa and Jasmine. I can also see my calendar and then my current, actually, let's create a care request. So I'm going to create a new care request. Tell the system, what am I looking for? We've pre-filled, like we know Johnny's your 6-year-old that learned Spanish and is potty training. I'm laughing because that's a little late to potty train, but these are mock-ups, okay? And then you're going to ask some additional questions. When do you need care? So this is a huge piece of the matching process, is to be able to ensure that if Catherine needs a babysitter Wednesday night, we're not showing her people that are not available on Wednesday night. Here is the curated guide, and I see Catherine popping on, which means I'm running over. And so you can kind of filter by what you're looking for, by what's going on with your kids. Here I see Tessa is available at the time and date I've selected. I love her. I'm going to rebook her. Send her a quick note. And then she's going to get a push notification saying, Shelly wants to book you for Wednesday. Do you accept this booking? Happy path, she accepts, and then we're off to the races. And of course, you know, if she's going to update her calendar or something to that effect, we've got a path there as well.
This is amazing, Shelly. This is amazing. Yeah. And real families are already using this, which is incredible. Yeah. Okay, so if somebody knows a military family or a military professional that would like to be part of SideKicks, what should they do?
Yeah, so we have, I'm going to answer that question, but plus say more, because that's what I do. We have 4 ways you can help us. 1, if you are connected to the military, you can sign up. We follow the USAA model of what it means to be military connected. 2, we're looking for introductions. So property managers, employee benefit managers, introductions into universities that have programs that are attracting veterans and military spouses. 3, we're in the Southeast. We got lots of military people here. So even if you're not military connected, you probably know someone that is. So please tell them about us. And then 4th, share this convo in your social network channels.
Please, for Shelly and for Atlanta Startup Convos. Yeah, thank you for the plug. Okay, awesome. So if folks have questions for Shelly, please throw it in the group chat and Shelly can answer via chat. And then also Shelly will share all this information via chat too, so that it's easy for folks. And then Shelly, thank you so much. This is fantastic. Thank you for what you're doing. And we're going to welcome Rodrigo, next.
Thank you.
All right.
Great to have you.
Thank you. We start by sharing the screen real quick. And I'll also get to logging in from my cell phone for the time I get to the demo. I know this will happen soon. Just make sure it's also there. Audio. Yes. Okay. All right, thank you for having me all. Sorry for the minor. I just want to make sure that when the time gets to the demo, we will be actually seeing the actual app working. So I'm Rodrigo, co-founder and CEO of Gabriel Money. Gabriel Money, we're building a banking engine purpose to be the path to financial prosperity for young Latinos in the US. So this actually, the idea of doing this happened many years ago, but we only started actually incorporated the company last year, and we just launched our MVP a couple months ago. It started actually with our own situation as immigrants. We moved in, my family and I, we moved in to Atlanta in 2017, and my previous corporate job. My wife was a successful entrepreneur and former banker in Brazil when we moved, still having a steady source of income. And what we didn't anticipate was her experience here of not being able to even get a Target credit card because she didn't have a credit score. So I could get financial products and etc. because the big firm was co-signing everything for me, but she couldn't get anything. And being a fintech practitioner for more than 30 years, she started to look at me and say, "Hey, Mr. Fintech, isn't this something that we should be solving for?" So years later, lots of customer discovery, narrowing down the problem, finding what was really the hair on fire component of this. We ended up deciding to focus on the young Latinos in the US, even though this is a problem for, there are 63 million Latinos in the US today. There's a bigger problem, but the focus that we decided to do was to the young ones, and this is the reason why. Young Latinos in the US are a quarter of the young American population age, right? So it's about a little more than 20 million people between the ages of 16 and 35. And their characteristics are that this generation wants to make it. They not only want to make a living, as oftentimes their parents did, they really are American citizens. They speak English as the first language. They want to have full access to the system. So living out of cash, sometimes some of you might actually have seen and experienced, but which is a common situation for the first immigrant that arrives in the country. It's not an answer to this generation. They want to have full access to the system. They are the segment of the population with the highest buying power growth in the last decade, generating $1.9 trillion of an economy. This is the 8th economy in the world. But yet, 16% of credit invisible, they are 30% underbanked, whereas the average of the non-Latinos is 12%. Underbanked means they have a deposit account and nothing else. They're vulnerable to predatory products that they need a loan for, a car for, or anything else, and usually very unsatisfied with the products that they get. So the problem you're solving for is working towards the underbanking of young Latinos in the US, right? It's bringing that level down. And the two major hurdles that we found through a bunch of interviews and research and etc. are these two. First hurdle is not having credit or not having credit score, knowing how to manage and improve the credit score, establishing credit and knowing how to manage and improve it. The second hurdle is vulnerability to predatory products. So these are the two hurdles that are actually the overall problem components that we are solving for and that are part of our solution. So what it is that we are building. We have right now is the start of the path to financial prosperity, right? Is the component that solves for the first hurdle, building credit, understanding how to manage and improve our credit score. So right now we have a secure deposit account and a secured credit card. People make a deposit in that account, is FDIC insured, and we issue them a credit card. And the limit of that card is exactly the deposit that was made. Some of you might be familiar. This product is not super new. It's a product that exists and is offered to some college students in some places to get their started in their financial lives. But we're doing a twist and proposing it specifically to this community in this way that when you use the card and use it for your daily needs, you send your statement at the end of the cycle, you pay it. If you don't, we collect from the deposit, but you always report payments on time to the bureaus, and then you start build credit. Why is that important? Oftentimes, this population, they didn't have financial education on their upbringing. Having your name reported to a credit bureau in the Latino community is not a no-brainer. If you have moved into the US from Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, Chile, and many other countries, your name in the bureau in those countries means a bad thing. Means that you're into debt. That's the only reason your name would go to one of these bureaus. This is changing in the last years, but historically, that's the overall perception and feeling. So understanding that you want your name in the bureau to start building credit is one of the key components of it. And then definitely are also embedding into the app credit score tracker, financial education gamified, and some other components to it to solve for this first component element of the problem. And this is already there. This is what I'm going to be showing you. Before I get into the app, just a glimpse of where we are going to. We are going to solving the second hurdle, which is offering products, being a one-stop shop for financial products, but never offering a predatory product. So being able to curate products for this population, the right product at the right time at a fair price. We're building an AI engine to make sure that we are able to curate that and promote the financial journey of our clients. And through that have access to a number of products. And this product roadmap is something that we built based on a number of interviews that we've made, but this might change as we interact with our customers and as we interact with the needs and we understand what are the new partnerships that we have to establish. This might evolve and change, but the key component is the AI-based engine that will bring the offers to the specific needs that they have. And with that, I will log into the actual app. So let me share from the phone now. So this is the actual app. This is a live environment. It's not a demo. This is the home screen. On the home screen, we try to bring here the most important components of the needs and the usage of the card and the dynamics of people having our product. So and on the top right corner, you can see the available to spend. This is the number one reason why people call or access credit card websites or call centers is to know, okay, how much can I spend? And then because it is a secure card, they're also putting the add money feature right on front. Recent transactions, and then we here pull the credit score from Experian to show the people, okay, this is what you have. We have a number of functions. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just highlighting a few. Here you can have the have fun component, which is a trivia game for financial knowledge. We change the trivia every week. I've already played this week, so the answers stay here so that I can review and understand what's going on. If you go to the score tab, we also have some educational features here, and the score simulator is the one that I like the most. We already have some of the things here that you can simulate. Okay, if I let an account go past due, one account for 2 months, what happens to my score? And then it gets from 795 to 650. So one account going 2 months past due can damage that much. So it's just for people to simulate. And then we also have a chatbot here that is already wrapping up OpenAI APIs. Basically, you can ask anything finance, and Gabi will give you an answer. And just to save time, I'm not asking, but believe me, if you just download the app, you can ask that, and it will work.
I love it. So how does somebody download the app? Where should people go, Rodrigo, if somebody's interested?
Both app stores. If you have an iPhone, go to the Apple Store. If you have a Google phone, go to the Google Play.
I love it. Okay. People are loving the educational aspect. I do too. I want to take the test to see how I do on this thing. So if any folks have other questions, throw them in the chat. And I'm curious, so what is the thing that we as a community can do to support you? If you have any ask, need some help, what is that thing?
Well, definitely positive feedback, right? We are at a moment of product market fit. So this year for us is getting feedback and enhancing the product and all of that. And naturally in the venture space, if you are a B2C investor, and if you are driven by making the world better, but impact businesses and doing well by doing good, give me a ring. I mean, we're raising right now, and we'd love to have some good partners with us.
All our fintech and B2C and impact investors. Rodrigo's going to put his information in the chat, and then everybody's going to email Rodrigo right after this. Just wire the money directly. I love it. Okay, Rodrigo, thank you so much. This was fantastic. And we are going to welcome Gia up next.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today and talk about Auditocity. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So I will tell you that I am a self-proclaimed HR nerd. I've been in human resources management for 26 years. I've worked for companies such as Target and Southwestern Bell and Cintas Corporation and BAE Systems. And in 2015, I decided to focus on consulting and opened a consulting firm, very specifically because I wanted to take the things that we knew and the resources that we had at very large companies to bring those to small and mid-sized businesses. And as I started down that path, what we discovered really quickly was that the compliance space in consulting was an area that really needed some additional support. So when we would go into engagements, every single time at the beginning of the engagement, we would always start off with an audit. And the purpose of the audit was to do a little bit of discovery and to help that company to figure out exactly what their big need was. They assumed they knew what the need was. Maybe it was, hey, the EEOC just contacted us, but there was actually a problem and there were issues that needed to be resolved in other parts of the organization. And so when we started doing these audits, we found out that we discovered a ton of things that were able to help us to really be specific inside of that space. Well, I'll tell you that I could not scale that business fast enough. And we decided to build Auditocity as a way to be able to do audits for more folks, and then turned it into a self-service model. And that's what we have here today. And so Auditocity, and the purpose of Auditocity is to bring the ability to audit and to diagnose for every single HR department. So the issue inside of, let me go to the next slide. The problem that often happens is that when you have an organization, regardless of the size, and when I say regardless of the size, I'll tell you that this is also an issue for very large companies. It's often difficult to find out exactly what employment-related regulations and processes that the companies are actually responsible for. And just picture you're in multiple states, you have multiple industries, things change all the time. And a lot of companies really struggle with the fact that, okay, I may have a compliance service, or I reach out to the Department of Labor, I go on their website all the time, but it doesn't make sense. I don't know exactly what is applicable specifically to us. And so because they don't know exactly where to find the information. And I'll also tell you that, again, as a 26-year HR nerd, It is very difficult to maneuver through the Department of Labor in order to find out exactly what it is that your need is. The problem is that in 2020, there was a $3.12 billion in fines inside of the United States, specifically regarding HR compliance inside of the United States. So the solution is Auditocity. We're a human resources SaaS platform that automates the most difficult part of the HR process, and that's going to be assessing and benchmarking. What do I need to know? How do I fix it? How am I doing against other companies? And so we're designed to make that whole system a lot easier by asking really simple questions, but also giving applicable answers that are helpful. So we're going to go ahead and take a look in the system, and I will give you a demo. So this is our website. Inside of our website, there's helpful information. We have an HR IQ quiz here. We also have our demo video, and we have quite a few white papers and things that are available, as well as links directly from the Department of Labor, SHRM, and HRCI that are helpful to our HR community. So here inside of the system, you start off by starting an audit. And you'll notice throughout our system, we have dates here. It's kind of when you think about doing ISO audits where there needs to be a timestamp inside of an auditing system, correct? And so you can begin a new audit over to the right, but I've already started a demo here for us. So we start off by asking preliminary questions, and we want to ask very fine questions to find out more about the organization as a whole. So some of the preliminary questions we have: how long have you been in business? What is your industry? How many employees do you have? What percentage of them are hourly? Where are you headquartered? How does the organization operate in more than one state? Are you franchised? Are you under OSHA? Do you pay independent contractors, use a staffing agency? And so we ask very specific questions that are relative inside of the HR process. And we take those questions, and those questions will allow us to be able to custom design an audit specifically for your specific needs. So there are 24 questions. And my last one is, do you have any remote workers? Everybody's answer to that now is pretty much yes. Then you submit it. In this tab, it gives you an opportunity to see the audits that specifically loaded up for you based on the way that you've answered those questions. Then we begin our audits. So here, just like I showed you earlier, here are all of the audits that loaded up specifically for you. There's a great video right there where Drew Schulten shows you exactly how to use the system. And then here, you have all of the audits, but it gives you how many questions that you have for each of the competency audits, but also it gives you a tracker to let you know how you're doing. So for this one specifically in employee relations, it's been started, but there have only been a number of questions that have been answered. But if you complete it, it'll be a complete green line. And that way you can track and see exactly where you are inside of your audit process. So let's take a look at one of them. So this is the HRIS audit. Based on the way that the questions were asked, we're going to give you an HRIS audit. So inside of the questions, it gives you a little bit about it. It asks you one question at a time, unless there's a list of questions, and you get to easily choose yes or no. Something really cool we have are called tooltips, where if it's a term that I find to be common, but it may not be something that everyone would know what it is, you just click on it and it gives you the tooltip right there. Okay. Here's another audit that we have here. And so you just simply go through and you answer the questions. This wants to know, is there a member of management that is providing reports on multiple things? So you can answer those questions. Answer these quickly and then we'll move on. So as you see, there are a mixture of both compliance, as well as best practice type questions. And we mix them in because we want to make sure that there is not testing anxiety. We want you to be very comfortable as you're answering these questions. If you've answered your questions, you go to the findings report, and this is how you read it. And tan means that it's in progress. A solid blue means that the audit has been complete, and white means that it hasn't quite started. So you just simply go and you look at your results, and it provides you the findings. It tells you what the question was, what your answer was, if it was a best practice or a compliance question, and then it actually gives you the Auditocity finding. Red means not so good, and green means that you did a fantastic job. We've also put these helpful tabs here where you have the number of questions, but you can also sort them by compliance-related questions, best practices, and remediation. I'd like to point out something very specific inside of the auditing space, because we talked a little bit earlier about oftentimes people don't know, where to find the answer. If it's a compliance-related question, we will give you the link specifically to the Department of Labor or the NLRA or OSHA that tells you exactly where to find that answer. And so we're taking you back to the source. Remediation tab, however, that is going to be where you find all of your wrong answers so that you can quickly be able to give this information back to your team. So this is my leadership team. I've got Drew Schultz that's here on the call today. Nanad Pradhan is my head of engineering. What I want to tell you is that the thing that's so important about what it is that we're doing is that we are leveling the HR playing field. We're making human resources something that is easy and available and easy to understand, not just for human resources professionals, but also HR process owner. It could be the person that does payroll who was being promoted to HR director and she has no idea what she's responsible for. It could be for the attorney who is representing the organization, who normally only gets a call when there is a situation that something's on fire. And they have a tool now that they can encourage their clients to use so that they can help to decide and figure out what the risk areas are inside of the clients. It's a way for consultants to be able to help their clients to figure out exactly where do we need to focus on so that we can reduce your risk inside of human resources related things. And it's a fantastic tool for new HR professionals and existing HR people inside the organization to find out what they need to do to course correct and how they can manage the process in HR more efficiently and more effectively. Thank you.
Yay! All right. I bet, Gia, there's like 12 people right now on your website that are filling this out, being like, how am I doing on this? How am I doing on this? I need an audit. I know I was like, do we have that? Okay, so if anybody has any questions for Gia, throw them in the chat. Gia obviously will put her contact info there, but before, Gia, how can we support you? What is the thing that would be helpful to you right now?
We are launching and we are ready to bring on customers. And so what I ask is that if you have, all companies need this. There's no one who does not need this product. And so as you have people that need to know exactly what their responsibilities are inside of HR, if there are organizations that are looking for tech partners inside of the HR tech space, ask that you bring us into those types of conversations and absolutely sign up for services.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, y'all. This was a fantastic day. We saw 3 amazing demos of amazing startups that are underway, making a difference in the world. So I feel honored to be here, and I hope everyone else had a fantastic time. We just, for the last minute, if you have any needs or leads, so this is like you are looking to hire somebody or you're looking for your next gig, throw it in the chat so that we can all help support each other. And we would love to have you join us for the next meetup. It's going to be the Healthcare Entrepreneur Meetup in May. Check back on the time and date. That will be out. And then also, anybody who attended, we are also going to do a summary and a recap, and we'll share the video. So if, for example, your mom wanted to watch you on video over and over again, you'll be able to share that and also share it on social media. Okay, we've got a quiet group. I don't see anything in the chat. So that means that you guys are all set, and I love that. Please, if you have a minute, we'd love to get your feedback on what is helpful to you, and click on that feedback survey, and we will see everybody here next time. Thank you guys so much.